Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Hope you've all had an amazing weekend. It's been sunny here. I'm up in Brisbane. Where are you guys all tuning in from? It's lovely to be with you this morning. Good morning, Court. Good morning, Rosie. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So that you guys know who I am before I start, actually. My name's Hayley. I am part of the Positive team. I'm a property consultant at Positive Real Estate, and I help clients pick and select the best properties for their portfolios. So I've been having some really interesting conversations lately with clients, but also some of my friends who may be wanting to jump into the property market ASAP. Obviously, it is expensive in a lot of locations now. We're talking $1 million median, basically across the board in some of the capital cities. Bar Sydney, of course, extremely expensive to jump in there. So I really feel for you Sydney-siders. But today I want to have a bit of a chat about what it looks like with the speed of the market at the moment. So some of you will be familiar with what is actually happening in the Brisbane market, what is happening in the Melbourne market, what is happening in the Sydney market. But today, after the back of the conversations that I've had with people last week, morning, Chris, thanks for tuning in. It's really, really interesting to see just how much the cost of opportunity is if you don't act now. Or what happens if you wait, you sit on your hands, you wait for the right time, anybody that is an experienced investor, that you jump in the market as soon as you can. Yesterday was the best time. But some people that might be a little bit nervous to jump in, you could be a first home buyer, you could be a first time investor, or you could be a seasoned investor that just still gets a little bit antsy jumping into that property market, some buyer's remorse or something like that. So I've been having a few conversations with people around waiting for the right time. Oh no, I'm not ready yet. I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for, things that are happening within the market, changes, interest rate drops, whatever it might be. Why are you waiting? That is, Bob, you can't save yourself rich. And I'm going to show you a couple of things today as to why you shouldn't wait or what it's going to cost you if you do wait. So when we're looking at some of the statistics in the market, and I'm a really big stats person. For anybody that knows me or works with me knows that I love a statistic or two. And I love to bring up, what is actually the reality of what's happening within the market today. So hopefully you guys can see my screen there. I'm just going to put in a couple of locations, predominantly in Brisbane and Melbourne at the moment, just based on some conversations I've had with people over the last week or two. And let's have a look at what the speed of the market looks like, right? So nowadays. Our clients have purchased into some of these locations over the last couple of years, and you can see that they'll be pretty happy to see these stats come up. But let's talk about the median house price today being $773,000 in Ripley. Ripley is in a southwestern suburb of Brisbane here. And if we talk about $773,000, you can see that it has increased in value by 11% in the last 12 months. Let's say that's going to do that again in the next 12 months, right? So I'm going to go 773. I'm going to talk you through the stats that I'm doing and the calculations that I'm doing. 773 times 11%, right? That's $85,000 in 1 year that you could be making, right? Then we divide that by 12, comes to $7,000 a month. So just let that sink in. If you wait 1 month to get into the property market, you could be doing yourself out of $7,000. That's pretty crazy, right? So 7K, I know I'd prefer that in my pocket than, in the abyss. But it's really, really interesting when you break it down into weekly or monthly amounts, right? So this is just one example of, a suburb in Brizzy. We've got another one here, Wynnum West, obviously a little bit closer to the city. When we're talking $1,080,000 is the median house price. Now, we had some clients buying here. It would have been early days COVID, maybe 21. There were some delays with the builds, but, stuff happens during that period of time. If they had have clocked out and gone, I'm out, I'm not going to deal with this, stuff this, they could have done themselves out of some serious money, right? You've got to keep the momentum flowing. As Jason says, get yourself a hobby. I definitely agree, because sometimes it can be nerve-wracking in the property market to sit there and wait. Melbourne at the moment, some people that have jumped into the Melbourne market in the last couple of years, they're going, I think I should sell. Should you? We're talking about potentially, the start of recovery, bottom of the market. This is where you want to be buying, right? And depends what you're looking at, and I'll show you some stats in a moment. The Melbourne market is moving. So are you getting out too early, right? Brisbane market, $1,080,000. Let's see what this gives us at 15.6%, right? So 15.6% equals $168,000 in 12 months. Can you save yourself $168,000 in 12 months easily? Maybe. Congrats to you. Maybe not. Maybe we want to be investing that money into something further, right? Thanks, Patrick. Thanks for coming along. So $168,000 is no mean feat to save in 12 months. So let the property market do it for you is what I'm trying to say, right? Sitting on your hands for another 12 months, waiting for something to happen, is doing yourself potentially out of $168,000, providing you're picking good suburbs, which we know at Positive Real Estate we do. So if we divide that by even a weekly figure, right, divided by 52, we've got $3,000 a week is what the property market is potentially doing for you and putting in your pocket. That's pretty awesome. I'd be pretty happy with that, right? Park Ridge, another outer suburb. This is down in the south of Brizzy. It's 9.6% growth over the last 12 months. Pretty impressive at $800K. That's about $80,000, generally speaking. So, yeah, does anybody want that amount of money, 3K in their pocket? Absolutely. We absolutely do. Morayfield, another one, 13.2%. These are some serious figures when we're talking about just 12 months within the property market. Some of these areas, I live in the north side of Brisbane, just so that you guys know where I'm tuning in from. I know Brizzy very well, professionally and personally. Same as Melbourne. I used to live in Melbourne. I grew up in Melbourne. I moved to Brisbane about 7 years ago. I think I've been here, which is pretty amazing. So I got here just before the boom in Brisbane. Purchased myself a few properties in Brisbane. I can tell you I'm pretty happy about it. Some of those properties, hey, 3K a week, could be 10K a month. It's pretty awesome to see what's happening and the volume of the property market, or how quickly, the speed of the property market is probably best said. Now, Melbourne. Anybody sitting on some Melbourne property at the moment? I am one of them, and I'm very excited for the Melbourne property market to start moving. Now, in some locations, again, this is some locations that our clients have purchased in the past few years. we're starting to see that upwards trend. So this is really, really exciting, right? Even at 4%, you're doing a little bit better than money in the bank. I think interest payable on cash at the moment is about 3.5%. So, you're looking at 4%, you're doing a little bit better. But even from, say, March or Feb, this year through to now, we've seen about $40,000 in growth in this Point Cook area. So that's pretty awesome to see. Even the Melbourne market is starting to move. It's getting momentum. Don't sell out early. Just, I say, don't sit on your hands. In this instance, sit on your hands in Melbourne if you're holding property there, because things are moving. There's momentum happening. It's really, really exciting to see, and it's a perfect time to be buying in, right? Melbourne has been sliding sideways. This is a really good example of how the Melbourne market has been tracking over that period of time over the last few years. And yeah, people do get antsy. Go get yourself a hobby. Go hike. Go go to a car meet. Whatever you like. But we're really starting to see that momentum happening now. Here's a different example, right? This is Coburg in Melbourne, and you can see that Coburg has been going through the ringer over the last couple of years with some ups and downs and all sorts of stuff. But when you look at the numbers here, this was potentially, bottom of the market. And we're seeing that lift off coming. So over the last couple of months, we've seen probably about $30,000 growth again. So in the last 4 months, we've seen $30,000 growth in that Coburg market. So is now a good time? Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing that momentum pushing forward. Obviously, we know there's really low supply in the markets. Somewhere like Brisbane, the Olympics is coming. Somewhere like Melbourne, international migration. Melbourne is the cheapest capital city to rent a property in at the moment, and that absolutely blows my mind considering it is a global city. Cranbourne, another one. Look at this. We're seeing some momentum happening within the market. It's pushing forward, even at 5.3%. This is awesome, awesome, awesome to see because it has been laying dormant for a little while. So what my whole chat here today is, guys, don't sit on your hands. You can see that you can be making some amazing money in the property market. And when Melbourne gets going, it's already happening. You can see it. The stats are here. I love that you guys are loving the stats too. And if there's anything that you guys are wanting to see, Shane, I can see you popping in a couple of different locations there. This is just realestate.com. This is a free website that you can have a look at yourself. Type in median house price in Rockhampton. You'll actually see what's happening within that location. A little bit of a tip for you there. Jump online, check it out for yourself, see what's happening, see what's been happening over the last few years. And it's really, really exciting to see those stats coming through. So don't sit on your hands. You can potentially make yourself $3K a week, which could work out to be 10 or 12K a month. And that means if you wait, you could be losing 10 or 12K a month. So get on it, team. It's going to be an amazing year. There's more to come, obviously, with the growth that's happening within the markets right now. So let that roll.